Hello dear student, welcome to our new session of electrostats. It's your 14th lecture and we are discussing about electric field due to continuous charge, in which our first application is electric field due to finite length wire. And I already tell you that finite length wire means the physical parameter is length. So the charge distribution is linear charge density, or we can say lambda. Lambda is charge per unit length, and we already discussed that if we have a finite length wire, and I already tell you what actually finite length wire is. Finite length wire means the wire whose length is identical and both the end of wire is visible. In last class, we will discuss that the electric field at any point P, which is perpendicular to the wire at a distance apart, we have two electric field. One is along x-axis and other is along y-axis. For x-axis, we will make a small mistake that the limit will be minus beta 2 plus alpha, and the formula of putting the limit is upper limit minus lower limit. So instead of upper limit minus lower limit, I'll put a sign of plus. So correct it, it is upper limit, that is sine alpha minus sine minus beta. Why minus beta, dear student? Because P is considered to be origin, and we know that below origin negative value and above origin it is positive value. So sine minus beta, and minus sine minus beta is minus sine beta, minus minus get plus. So electric field along x-axis will be k lambda by a sine alpha plus sine beta, and for electric field along y-axis it is k lambda by a cos alpha minus cos beta. We know that lambda is charge per unit length, that is Q by L, and K is Coulomb's constant, whose value is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, as nothing medium kind of thing is present. The wire and point P, between wire and point P nothing is there, or we can say air is there, and or we can say vacuum is there. So if you see here, now we are discussing about direction of electric field due to finite length wire at any point P. Write down direction of electric field, because we know that electric field is a vector quantity. So I'll write direction of electric field at point P due to finite length wire, in which we are discussing case A, if charge on wire is positive by nature. If charge on wire is positive by nature. So my dear student, here charge is positive. So you are seeing that the direction of electric field along x-axis is away from the wire, away. See, this is the direction of electric field along x-axis. So we will say the direction of electric field at point P due to this finite length wire, if a wire carry positive charge, is away from the wire. So electric field, the direction of electric field is away from the wire, and its magnitude is k lambda by a sine alpha plus sine beta. Similarly, if I am talking about electric field along y-axis, then it is Ey, which is equals to k lambda by a cos alpha minus cos beta. So we will say the direction of electric field along y-axis due to finite length wire is towards negative y-axis, in below direction, lower direction. So I'll write here that Ex is away from the wire and Ey is towards negative y-axis. So the direction of electric field along x-axis is away from the wire, and the direction of electric field along y-axis is in negative y direction, or we can say towards negative y-axis. Now see, this Ex is also called E perpendicular. This Ex is also called E perpendicular, and this Ey is also called E parallel. Why? Because you see here, dear student, this is your wire and this is the direction of electric field. So what you will feel? You will feel that this direction along x-axis of electric field is perpendicular component from y-axis. You are seeing here that this Ex is perpendicular to wire and Ey is parallel to wire. That's why we will say Ex is also E perpendicular and Ey is also E parallel. So I hope you all getting the direction of electric field along x-axis and along y-axis due to finite length wire if charge is positive on the wire. So E perpendicular and E parallel, because electric field along x-axis is perpendicular to wire and electric field along y-axis is parallel to wire. That's why we will say Ex is also called E perpendicular and Ey is also called E parallel. So I hope you all getting my point. Now moving forward, if charge on wire is negative by nature, if charge on wire is negative by nature, write down case 2. If charge on wire is negative by nature, I'll write here our case 2. If charge on wire is negative by nature, so this is your wire consisting charge negative at perpendicular distance A. We have a point P. As wire is of finite length, hence both the ends of the wire is visible, alpha and beta. We have one component of electric field which is perpendicular is equals to, which is also called electric field along x-axis, k lambda by A sin alpha plus sin beta, and E parallel, which is also called Ey, it is equals to k lambda by A cos alpha minus cos beta. Now see, we'll see already that if charge on wire is positive, then the direction of electric field along x-axis is away from the wire, which is also called perpendicular electric field, and the direction of electric field along y-axis is parallel to wire, or we can say along negative y-axis. Now see, dear student, the charge is negative. So the direction along x-axis of electric field changes in opposite direction, and direction along y-axis of electric field is changes opposite to its direction. So existing direction was if charge is positive away, now electric field along x-axis, which is also called perpendicular electric field, is towards the wire, and the direction of electric field along y-axis is in upper direction, or we can say is in positive y-axis, and its magnitude remains same. It is Ey and this is Ex, having value k lambda by A is distance, remember, cos alpha minus cos beta, and the value of Ex is k lambda by A sin alpha plus sin beta. I hope you all understand what is the direction of electric field if charge is positive and what is the direction of electric field if charge is negative. Now moving forward, write down electric field due to infinite length wire. At any point P, electric field due to infinite length wire, electric field due to electric field due to infinite length wire at any point P perpendicular to the wire. So now we have infinite length wire. So dear student, let's suppose we have infinite length wire and there is a point here called P, a distance apart from the wire. Let the charge on wire is positive and we wish to find electric field due to this infinite length wire. Let's say the charge density on wire is lambda. So we all know that electric field along x-axis is k lambda by a sin alpha plus sin beta, and electric field along y-axis is k lambda by a cos alpha minus cos beta. Now see, if I am talking about infinite length wire, when I'll discussing about types of wire, then that time I already tell you that to see this end we have to rotate by an angle of 90 degree, and to see the lower end also we have to rotate by an angle of 90 degree. So we'll say the rotation angle for infinite length wire alpha is 90 and again beta is also 90. So instead of alpha we'll put 90 and instead of beta we'll put again 90. So we'll get electric field along x-axis due to this infinite length wire. Similarly, electric field along y-axis, we'll put instead of alpha we'll put 90 degree and instead of beta again we'll put 90 degree. Then we'll get the component of electric field along y-axis due to infinite length wire. So what we conclude? We have to remember only one formula, that is electric field due to finite length wire. Other two formula we will get by putting the angle of visualization of both the ends of wire. So in case of infinite length wire, alpha is negative and in case of beta is also negative. So I'll write here alpha and beta both is 90 degree for infinite length wire. Now what we have to do, we'll put the value of electric field, and remember Ex is also called E perpendicular and Ey is also called E parallel, because Ex is perpendicular to wire and Ey is parallel to wire. For positive it is in negative side and for negative it will be in positive side. For positive X is away from wire, for negative Ex is towards the wire. So my dear student, Ex is equals to k lambda by a sin alpha means sin 90 plus sin beta means again sin 90. We know the value of sin 90. Sin 90 becomes equals to 1. So Ex is equals to k lambda by a 1 plus 1. So Ex is equals to 2k lambda by a. This is the value of electric field along the x-axis due to infinite length wire. So due to positive charge, electric field is away, having magnitude 2k lambda by a. Now we'll consider electric field along y-axis. So electric field along y-axis. So the value of electric field along y-axis is k lambda by a cos alpha minus cos beta. So alpha and beta, we'll put the value, it is 90 degree. So what we'll get, my dear student? Ey must be equal to cos 90 plus cos 90. I'll write here Ey is equals to k lambda by a cos 90 minus cos 90. So we know that cos 90 is equals to 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. So Ey is equals to k lambda by a 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 multiplied by k lambda by A is 0. So what we'll see here, my dear student, electric field due to infinite length wire is only along x-axis, and it is 2k lambda by A, which is also called perpendicular electric field. But when we are talking about electric field along y-axis, it is equals to 0, which is also called parallel electric field. So we have only one direction of electric field due to infinite length wire. So write down the direction. Write down the direction of electric field due to infinite length wire. Direction of electric field due to infinite length wire. So case A, if charge is positive, so my dear student, let's suppose we have infinite length wire and on wire charge is positive. So A distance apart at point P, we have only one electric field, that is in this direction, which is also called perpendicular component of electric field. Along y-axis there is no electric field is existing, which is equals to 0. So we don't need to put the direction of electric field along y-axis, because electric field along y-axis is not existing for infinite length wire, and it is equals to 2k lambda by A. And if charge is negative, we have infinite length wire and on wire charge is negative. So at point P, electric field is towards the wire, and it is equals to 2k lambda by A. I hope you all understand how to find electric field due to infinite length wire, electric field due to finite length wire. Now we are discussing electric field due to semi-infinite length wire. So write down the heading: electric field due to semi-infinite length wire. Electric field due to semi-infinite length wire. Electric field due to semi-infinite length wire at point P perpendicular to the wire. So the position of point P is perpendicular to the wire, my dear student. Now see, we have a semi-infinite length wire. I already tell you, in case of semi-infinite length wire, you have to consider yourself at one end of the wire and other end will tends to infinity. So if you are just opposite to one end of wire, so the value of alpha is 0 and other end is up to infinity, so the value of beta becomes equals to 90 degree. See, if charge is positive, I'll write case A. If charge is positive, we are considering charge to be positive, and let the linear charge density on wire is lambda. So we know that electric field along x-axis, which is also called perpendicular electric field, it is k lambda by A sin alpha plus sin beta. So sin alpha plus sin beta. So my dear student, alpha is 0 degree and beta is 90. So alpha is equals to 0 and beta is equals to 90. So Ex is also called E perpendicular, k lambda by A sin 0 plus sin 90. So we know that sin 0 is 0 and sin 90 is 1. So 0 plus 1, it is 1. So E perpendicular, which is also called Ex, it will be k lambda by A. This is the value of electric field along x-axis due to semi-infinite length wire. Now moving forward, electric field along y-axis. So electric field along y-axis. I hope you all are understanding what I am performing. So Ey, it is equals to k lambda by A cos alpha minus cos beta. So instead of alpha, due to semi-infinite length wire, my dear student, I have to put 0 degree, and for beta we'll put 90 degrees. So Ey, electric field along y-axis, is equals to k lambda by A cos 0 plus cos 90. So Ey is equals to k lambda by A. Cos 0 is 1 and cos 90 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 0. So it will be Ey, 1 minus 0 is 1. So it will be k lambda by A. So electric field along y-axis is also equals to k lambda by A, which is also called parallel electric field. It is k lambda by A. Now see, if charge on wire is negative, then Ex, which is away from the wire, will be towards the wire, and Ey, which is in lower direction, will be moved in upward direction. So I'll write here, for direction of electric field, if charge is negative, then A distance apart at point P, Ex is towards the wire and Ey is in upward direction. So I hope you all understand how to find electric field due to infinite length wire, electric field due to semi-infinite length wire, and electric field due to finite length wire. You have to learn only one formula. On the basis of that formula, you will make formula for infinite length wire and semi-infinite length wire. So the formula is k lambda by A sin alpha plus sin beta, which is electric field along x-axis. If wire carry positive charge, then the direction of electric field is away from the charge. And electric field along y-axis, it is k lambda by A cos alpha minus cos beta. Again, if charge is positive, then the direction of electric field along y-axis is below from point P, and if charge on wire is negative, it is above the charge. Now, if wire is of infinite length, then instead of alpha, you'll write 90, and instead of beta again, you'll write 90. So you'll get only one electric field along x-axis, which is away from the wire for positive charge and towards the wire for negative charge. Similarly, when we are talking about semi-infinite length wire, my dear student, then one angle, that is alpha, is considered to be 0 and beta is considered to be 90 degree. You have to put the value, you'll get electric field along x-axis as well as electric field along y-axis, which is also called perpendicular electric field and parallel electric field, and its value is k lambda by A. So I hope you all understand how to find electric field due to finite length wire, infinite length wire and semi-infinite length wire. So write down, then we'll move forward. We'll find electric field now due to charge So write down next heading, second application of electric field due to continuous charge, that is electric field due to ring. Electric field due to ring. Electric field due to ring on its axis. Electric field due to ring on its axis having radius A and and having radius a and linear charge density lambda. Electric field due to ring, I'll write here electric field due to ring on its axis at point P having radius a and linear charge density lambda. Now see, I'll already tell you, my dear student, that if we'll convert the wire in circular form, then the wire is converted into ring. So if the physical parameter of wire is length, then the physical parameter of ring is also length. First thing, we have a ring. I'll make this ring like this. This is the side angle. It will be look like this. If we'll make front view, it will be like this, that is spherical. But we are making this as a side view. So this is your ring like this, and the radius of ring is a. Its axis means the line which passes from the center of the ring. I'll write here axis of ring means the line which passes from the center of the ring. So we have a ring having linear charge density lambda. Let's suppose the charge on ring is positive. Let's see how we have to find the value of electric field due to this ring. So let the linear charge density on ring is equals to, my dear student, lambda. So the linear charge density of ring is considered to be lambda. Now moving forward, we have to find electric field. Let's suppose at this point P, which is x distance apart from the center of the ring. So see, this point P is present on the axis of the ring, which is x distance apart from the center of the ring, and the radius of ring is a, having linear charge density, what, my dear student, lambda. So I'll write here, we have to find electric field due to ring on its axis x distance apart from the center of ring at point P. I hope you are getting what we have to do now is, we have to do, see, we have a ring of radius a having linear charge density lambda. We wish to find electric field on the axis of ring, which is x distance apart from the center of the ring at point P. Now we know that ring is made up of wire, so if the physical parameter of wire is length, then the physical parameter of ring is also length. I'll write here the physical parameter of ring is length. So from this point we'll clear that if the physical parameter of ring is length, then its charge is present on its length, and we'll consider linear charge density, that is lambda, which is equals to charge per unit length. So we'll know now that the charge on ring is present on its length, and we know that ring is a continuous body. Ring is a continuous body, so the charge which is present on ring must be continuous charge. must be continuous charge. And we know that electric field due to point charge is electric field due to point charge. We know that it is kq by r square, and for positive charge it is away from the charge, and for negative charge it is towards the charge. So my dear student, we know that the value of electric field due to point charge, but see, this charge which is present on ring is not a point charge, it is continuous charge, or we can say extended charge, because this charge is present on ring, and ring is not a point mass, it is a continuous body, or we can say continuous mass. So if the charge which is present on ring is continuous charge, or we can say extended charge, and we know that for extended charge we cannot find electric field with this formula, which is kq by r square, because this formula is valid only for point charge, not for extended charge. So we have a ring of radius a carry positive charge on its length, having linear charge density lambda, from center at point P x distance apart, we wish to find electric field due to this ring. So we know that we have to consider a small length for small charge, because the formula for finding electric field due to continuous body is dE is equals to k dq by r square. This is the formula. After finding the value of dq, we'll put the formula, we'll put the value of dq on this formula and integrate this formula, so that we'll get the total charge present on ring, total electric field due to ring at any point P. So what we have to do, my dear student, we'll consider a small length on dq, because ring carry length, and the charge which is present on ring must be on its length. So I'll take here a very small length, let's suppose dl, in which dq charge is present. So consider a small length, I'll write here, consider a small length dl in which dq charge is present, so that this dq charge now behaves as point charge. dq charge behaves as point charge. This dq charge will behave as point charge because, my dear student, while we'll consider dl length in which dq charge is present, because we know that ring carry length, so the charge present on ring on its length. So if you wish to find a small charge, you have to consider a small length. So dl length carry dq charge. So this dq charge now will act as a point charge. Now see, we know that the direction of electric field due to positive charge is always away from the charge. So we have here positive charge, let's suppose this angle is theta. Now see, due to point charge, small point charge dq, electric field is also very small, it is dE, it is equals to k dq by r square. R is basically, my dear student, from dq charge to point P, where we have to find electric field. Now see, this length is x and this radius is x a, and this angle is theta. So by Pythagoras, we have a right angle triangle in which base is x and perpendicular is a. So this distance, that is distance from charge to point P where we wish to find electric field, is under root a square plus x square. So the value of r is equals to under root a square plus x square. Now see, we know that due to positive charge, the direction of electric field is always away from the charge. So here we have positive charge, and this is the line joining charge and point P where we wish to find electric field. So my dear student, this carry positive charge, and we know that due to positive charge the direction of electric field is away from the charge. So it is like this. Due to small charge, electric field is also small, that is dE, and we know that electric field is a vector quantity. So this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. See, if this angle is theta, then this angle is also theta. Now what we'll see, my dear student, we'll see that this electric field is not present along x-axis or on y-axis. It is in between x-axis and y-axis, and this electric field is making some angle theta. So if any vector quantity makes some angle theta, we know that we have to split its component, and we have any vector quantity carry two components. One is cos and other is sine, and both the components are always mutually perpendicular to each other. So electric field along x-axis, it will be like this, and it is dE cos theta, and electric field along y-axis, it is dE sin theta. So we have two different components of electric field. From point P, it is dE cos theta and dE sin theta. Just try to understand what I'll write. At point P, we'll get two directions of electric field. One is towards x-axis and other is towards minus y-axis. The value of x component of electric field is dE cos theta, and the value of y component of electric field is dE sin theta. Now we know that, my dear student, that electric field is a vector quantity, and if we are talking about vector quantity, then from a single point, I am repeating again and again in every topic, that's so that you will understand more. At single point, we have electric field in two different directions, and we know that electric field is a vector quantity, and from a single point, vector quantity cannot define its direction in two different ways. The electric field due to at any point P is only along one axis. Either it will be on x-axis or along y-axis. So which component is effective? Either dE cos theta or dE sin theta. We will check this, which component is effective component of electric field due to this ring on its axis at point P. I am repeating once again. At point P, we'll get electric field in two different directions. One is along this side and other is along this side. So along this side, the component of electric field is dE cos theta, and along negative y-axis, it is dE sin theta. And we know that electric field is a vector quantity, so any vector quantity cannot lies in two different way, or we can say in two different direction. So you have to check either the effective component of electric field is dE cos theta or it is dE sin theta. So to identify which component is active, or we can say which component is effective, either x component or y component, what we will do, my dear student, will take similar length in just diametrically opposite to this length. So I'll take a similar length here. Let's say this length is dl, in which again dq charge is present. So if this distance is a, then this distance is also a. So if this angle is theta, this angle is also theta. This distance is x, this distance is a, and the angle is theta. So we'll get a square plus x square. Now see, my dear student, this element of ring, that is dl, carry dq charge, and the nature of charge is positive. So we know that for positive charge, the direction of electric field is always away from the charge. So what we'll do, we'll make electric field like this, and if this angle is theta, this angle also be theta. Again, this DE cannot lie on x-axis, or we can say this DE cannot lie along y-axis. This DE lies between x-axis and y-axis. Why we'll do this? Just to identify which component of electric field is effective. I'm repeating once again. We have to perform similar thing below the diameter, opposite to diameter, as just to check which component of electric field is effective, either DE cos theta or DE sin theta. So let's start. This DE is making angle theta, and we know that electric field is a vector quantity. If any vector quantity makes some angle, then we know that, my dear student, we have to split its component. And any vector quantity carry two components. One is cos and other is sine. So this angle theta is with x-axis. So the cos component of electric field is along x-axis, and perpendicular to that will make sine component. So along this direction we'll get DE cos theta, and perpendicular to DE cos theta will get DE sin theta. Now see, I'll find the value of DE. DE is equals to K dq by under root a square plus x square and its square, because the value of in denominator is r square and the value of r is distance between charge, small charge, point charge and point P where we wish to find electric field. So root get cancelled, we'll get DE is equals to K dq by a square plus x square. This is the value of electric field due to above positive charge and below positive charge, because all the configuration above the origin and below the origin, or we can say above the center of ring and below the center of ring, all the configurations is same, distance is same, radius is same, base is same, angle is also same, charge is also same, length of the elementary ring is also same. So DE due to this dq charge, that is below origin, and DE due to above origin is same, or we can say above center and below center, DE is same. So see, one DE sin theta component is in upward direction and one DE sin theta component is in below direction. Due to this charge it is below, and due to this charge it is above. And we know that the magnitude of DE due to both the elementary charge is same, or due to both the point charge, that is dq, is same. So DE sin theta and DE sin theta, my dear student, get cancelled because magnitude of electric field is same and their directions are opposite. So DE sin theta and DE sin theta get cancelled. So what we'll see here, we'll see the effective component of electric field is DE cos theta. We cannot add both the component because this process is only to check the electric field, effective direction of electric field. So don't add DE cos theta plus DE cos theta, which will equals to 2 DE cos theta. No, this process is only performed as to understand which component of electric field due to this ring on its axis is active, my dear student. So we'll see here that the effective component of electric field is effective component of electric field is, I'll write here DE effective, it is equals to DE cos theta. Now we'll put the value of DE. So DE effective is equals to, the value of DE is K dq by a square plus x square multiply cos theta. Now see, my dear student, Pandit Bhadri Prasad har har bhole sona chandi tole. Cos is based upon hypotenuse. So I'll write DE effective is equals to K dq by a square plus x square multiply by base upon hypotenuse. So see, we have a right angle triangle here. If you are seeing here, we have a right angle triangle whose base is x and hypotenuse is under root a square plus x square. So I'll write here what we'll get. We'll get DE effective is equals to K dq by a square plus x square multiply base is x and hypotenuse it is under root a square plus x square. Now see my dear student, if we'll remove under root, what we'll get? We'll get half to power, it is dE effective is equals to k dq by a square plus x square multiply x, x is a distance, upon a square plus x square power half. Instead of root, I'll write half. Now see, if base is same, then power is added. So 1 plus half, it is 3 by 2. What will get? dE effective, it is equals to k dq x by a square plus x square raised power 3 by 2. Now, we know that this electric field is very small electric field due to this very small charge, that is dq, which is present on length dl. We are interested to find net electric field due to whole ring. So what we have to do? We have to integrate this electric field. So for net electric field, integrating both sides, I'll write here for net electric field, integrating both sides. For net electric field, integrate both sides. So integration of dE effective is equals to integration k dq x by a square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2. So we know that the integration of dE effective is E effective, which is equals to k is constant, x is constant, divided by a is radius, which is constant, x is also constant. So this terms comes outside, it is a square plus x square power 3 by 2 integration of dq. And integration of dq is q. So what we'll get? E effective is equals to kqx by a square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2. This is the magnitude of electric field on the axis of ring at point P, which is x distance apart from the center of the ring, and the radius of ring is x, having total charge q. So this A is, my dear student, radius of ring, and x is the distance from the center of ring at point P, which is present on the axis of ring where we wish to find electric field. Now, if I am talking about direction of electric field due to ring. So, case first, if charge on ring is positive. So this is my ring beta and the ring carry positive charge. So this is the radius of ring A and axis of ring point P, which is x distance apart. So the direction of electric field due to positive charge is away from the ring, and it is equal to kqx by a square plus x square raised power 3 by 2. Remember this thing. And if charge is negative on this ring of radius A having total charge q, again q, this is axis of ring at point P, x distance apart, electric field is kqx by a square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2, and the direction of electric field is towards the ring. So write down in form of note, if charge is positive, on ring, then the direction of electric field, on the axis of ring, is away from the center, and if charge present on ring is negative, then the direction of electric field on the axis of ring, on the axis of ring is towards the center of the ring, towards the center of the ring, and we know that magnitude remains same due to both the charge, either the charge is positive or the charge is negative. The magnitude of electric field on the axis of the ring remains same. It is kqx by a square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2. I hope you all understand how to find electric field due to ring on its axis at any point P which is x distance apart from the center of the ring. So second application of electric field due to continuous charge here completed. Now we are moving forward. Write down next heading. First of all, copy this, then we'll start after 1 minute. Electric field due to an arc at its center, and we all know that arc means part of circle. Any part of circle is considered to be arc. So copy this, then we'll start further. I hope you all are enjoying the class. After completion of this topic, we'll move to next part, that is electric flux and Gauss's law. So write down next heading. Electric field due to semicircular arc. Electric field due to semicircular arc on its center. Electric field due to semicircular arc on its center at point O. So dear student, let's suppose we have a semicircular arc. I hope you all are understanding. This is your last topic on continuous charge. So we have a semicircular arc. This is the center of semicircular arc, and if it is semicircular, then we'll say half ring. This is the semicircular arc. Consider point O on its center, and we know that semicircular arc basically is a kind of ring as well. So let's suppose the charge which is present on semicircular arc is positive, and we know that the physical parameter of semicircular arc is also length, because basically this is a part of ring, we can say. So if the physical parameter of ring is length, then the physical parameter of this semicircular ring, which this semicircular arc is also called semicircular ring. So the physical parameter is length, so linear charge density is lambda, and we wish to find electric field at this point P, which is, let's say, x distance apart from this circumference of the ring, and let's suppose the radius of this semicircular ring, or we can say semicircular arc, is A. So radius is A, and we wish to find electric field at point P. My dear students, see, this point is also A distance apart as well. So the radius, write down, consider a semicircular arc, or we can say ring. having linear charge density lambda, write down, consider a semicircular ring or arc, semicircular arc, you can also say semicircular arc, having linear charge density lambda, having linear charge density lambda. So here linear charge density, my dear student, is lambda, its radius is equals to a, and we wish to find electric field at point P due to this semicircular arc. So what we'll do, we know that this charge which is present on this semicircular arc is basically continuous charge, and we only know the value of electric field due to point charge. So what we have to do, we know that electric field due to point charge, it is kq by r square, but the charge which is present on this semicircular ring, or we can say semicircular arc, is basically continuous charge. So consider a small length like this. This is your small length dl in which dq charge is present. Now if you see here, then this small length is basically subtending some angle, let's suppose d theta, with the center. Consider a small length, I'll write here, consider a small length dl on semi circular ring, or we can say arc. Now see, this semicircular this part of semicircular ring, or we can say arc, carry charge dq, charge present on dl is dq. Now see, if you are seeing here, my dear student, then you will see that this small, basically small part, this small part which is considered in form of dq. Why dq? Because dq will act as a point charge, and we only know the electric field due to point charge. With the help of electric field due to point charge, we will integrate and get the total electric field due to any continuous body. That's why I am considering small length here dl, in which dq charge is present, because ring, or we can say semicircular arc, is his physical parameter is length. So if we'll put some charge on semicircular ring, or we can say semicircular arc, then that charge will present on its length. So charge present on dl is dq. Now see, my dear student, this dl is subtending some angle d theta. Let this angle is theta as well. So I'll write here the dl length subtended angle d theta with the center, Now see, we know the formula, which is angle is equals to arc by radius. So here angle is d theta, arc is dl. We know that the any part of any circular part of is called arc. So this dl is basically arc, and radius is a. So dl here will be a d theta. So this dl length carry positive charge, and we know that due to positive charge, the direction of electric field is always away from the charge, Now see, this angle is theta, and what we'll see here, we'll see that again electric field is not lies only along x-axis or only along y-axis. So it is making some angle. If this angle is theta, then this must be theta. So dE is basically electric field and it is a vector quantity and making angle theta. So what we have to do, we have to split its component. I already tell you we have two components, one is cos and other is sine. Both the components are mutually perpendicular to each other. So what we'll see here, we'll see this dE is making two component. One is along this side and other is along this side. This component is dE cos theta and this is dE sin theta. Because this dE cos theta, why this dE cos theta? Because this dE is making angle theta with x-axis, and we know that the line along with which the vector quantity makes angle, along that line we know that the cos component lies, and perpendicular to that line we know that sine component lies. Now see my dear student, what we'll see here, we'll see here like ring as well. We have two different electric field, component of electric field. One is dE cos theta and other is dE sin theta. And both the components are in different direction. dE cos theta is along positive x-axis and dE sin theta is along negative y-axis. So what we have to do? We will identify which component of electric field is active, or we can say which component of electric field is effective. Either it is dE cos theta or dE sin theta. So what we have to do? We'll take another small length here. Let's suppose dl, in which dq charge is present. So you see again, this small length which acts like an arc is subtending some angle, let's suppose d theta. So if this is theta, then this is also theta. Now see, this dl length carry positive charge. So if this dl length carry positive charge, then the direction of electric field due to positive charge, we all know it is away from the charge. So the direction of electric field will be like this, that is away from the charge. Now see, if this angle is theta, then this angle is also theta. Now again, what we have to do? We have to split the component of electric field, because this electric field cannot lie along x-axis or cannot lie along y-axis. So two components, angle is formed with x-axis, so cos component will be along x-axis and sine component will be along y-axis. So along x-axis it is dE cos theta and along y-axis it is dE sin theta. Now see my dear student, one dE sin theta is in upward direction, other dE sin theta is in downward direction. Both elementary part, that is dl, considering on semicircular ring, is same. Distance between this dl length and point P is also same, above origin and below origin. So the magnitude of dE sin theta, this component and this component is same. So what we'll see one dE sin theta is in upward direction and one dE sin theta is in downward direction. So what we have to do, my dear student, will cancel, because dE is both similar for both the component. So the effective component of electric field, I'll write here, effective component of electric field is dE effective is equals to dE cos theta. So remember this thing, the effective component of electric field is dE cos theta, dE cos theta. And if you are seeing here, we have two components of dE, one is dE cos theta for this part and other is of this part. So we have to add now, in this case we have to add, we'll get 2 dE cos theta. Now try to find the electric field which is called dE. So dE is basically K dQ by R square. Instead of R, what we'll write, my dear student? R is basically distance and here distance is equals to radius. So instead of R, what we'll write? We'll write A. So it is equals to Instead of effective, I'll write net electric field. Two dE cos theta. 2 dE cos theta. So instead of R, we'll write A. So it is equals to dE is equals to K dQ. Meaning of dQ is lambda into dl, because we know that this semicircular ring, or we can say semicircular arc, carry linear charge density lambda, and we know that linear charge density lambda is equals to charge per unit length. So small charge is there for small length. So I'll write, instead of dq, I'll write, we'll find the value of dq, it will be lambda into dl. So k into lambda into dl divided by a square. Now see, dE is equals to k. Instead of lambda, I'll write lambda. dl is basically arc, it is a into d theta divided by a square. 1a get cancelled. So d is equals to k lambda d theta by a. Now put this value of dE in the total net electric field, dE net. I'll write here dE net. So dE net. So dE net is equals to 2 dE is k lambda d theta by a and cos theta. So my dear student, for net electric field, what we have to do, we have to integrate it. So integrating both side for net electric field. So what we'll get after integration, what we'll get, I hope you all are understanding. Integration of dE net is equals to integration 2k lambda d theta over a into cos theta. Now dE net, 2 is constant, k is constant, lambda is constant, a is constant, inside it is cos theta d theta. Now see, always we'll decide what actually limit is on observing the last term, that is theta. So you are seeing, my dear student, that this is basically d theta and this is the electric field due to this part, but we wish to find the net electric field due to whole semicircular arc, or we can say semicircular ring. So this d theta will be from this to this, that means minus, this d theta will be starting from here and it will be up to this side. So it will be 0 to 90, or we can say pi. 0 to 90. Now see, the integration of cos theta is sin theta. So it is E net is equals to 2k lambda by a sin theta from 0 to 90. So E net is equals to 2k lambda by a upper limit minus lower limit, sin 90 minus sin 0. So E net is equals to 2k lambda by a sin 90, it is equals to 1, sin 0 is 0. So E net is equals to 2k lambda by a. This is the value of electric field due to semicircular ring, or we can say semicircular arc on its center. It is 2k lambda by a. Instead of k, you'll write 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. If you wish to find more, then let us try. Instead of k, I'll write 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So E net is equals to 2 into 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught lambda by a. So 2 2s are 4. What we'll get? Lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught a. This is the value of electric field due to semicircular ring on its center, or we can say semicircular arc on its center. And you are see, sin get cancelled. So if charge is positive, then the direction of electric field at point P is away from the semicircular ring, and if charge is negative, then the direction of electric field is towards the towards the ring. So I hope you all understand how to find electric field due to continuous charge, in which we'll discuss about electric field due to wire, and in wire we'll discuss all the three cases: electric field due to ring on its axis and electric field due to semicircular ring on its center. I hope you all understand. Try to make proper note, try to understand by watching video again and again, my dear student, because these topics are important topic which enhance your mind, and this is somehow related with gravitation as well as rotational motion, which you already studied in first year, or we can say in 11th class. Thank you so much, my dear student, for watching video. Stay home, stay safe, take care.